Well, hello, fellow constitutionalists, and welcome to the Dan Clements Show, a Christian and political talk show. I'm your host, Dan Clements, your constitutional warrior fighting for your right just to be an American. And today on the show, we're going to be talking about Liz Cheney. We're going to be talking about her absolute hubris in her statements. We're going to talk a little bit about how she doesn't even know what the temperature of the room is, let alone what room she's in. And as I've told people before, I'm a member of the Constitution Party. I am not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't support either one of them financially, and I do not support either one of them ideologically. Get that word out there. And the point, I don't understand people like this. I do not understand politicians like this. She is almost, and I liken her to Arlen Specter. I one time at Bucknell University during the healthcare, the Obamacare debacle, before it was passed, Arlen Specter was a Rhino Republican, and he switched to be a Democrat, which he should have been all along. He was a senator here from Pennsylvania, and we were in a forum up at Bucknell University, and he was intentionally lying about the temperature of the room, what was going on in the room, how much support he was getting in that room. I would say probably 98% of the folks in the room were against him. There was only a small handful that were for him. So, again, she reminds me a lot of Arlen Specter in the way she cannot read the room, or she's just lying about what's actually happening. Now, most of you know that she has lost her primary bid out in Wyoming. She got spanked, folks. I mean, she literally got taken to the woodshed and got spanked to the point she can't even sit down. Last I heard, it was 66% to 28%. Hagman is going to be running for the Republican nomination, and I'm pretty sure some of the things I read about it, I'm pretty sure she's almost a lock to win that election out in Montana. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not making any predictions. I just read that she's kind of a lock for that. Let me type something here. We are on a live stream, so if you're in the chat, want to send me a question or something, that's fine. I'll try to get to it. But I really want to focus on this. Now, this is an article from CNS News. Liz Cheney defeated. Our work is far from over. And I'm really just kind of, she's quoting Abraham Lincoln. And she says here, and I'm just going to go through these slides real quick here, and then we'll get back and make some points. Cheney noted that Abraham Lincoln was defeated in the Senate and House elections before winning the presidency. Lincoln ultimately prevailed, she said. He saved our union, and he defined our obligation as Americans to for all of history. Okay, that was Abraham Lincoln, and for her to quote that shows her hubris. She is nothing like Abraham Lincoln. I'm sorry, that's a bald-faced lie on Liz Cheney's part. Now, after quoting Lincoln's remarks at Gettysburg, Cheney said, "Today, our highest duty is to preserve our nation and its blessings, to ensure that freedom will not perish, to protect the very foundations of this constitutional republic. Never in our nation's 246 years have we seen what we saw on January 6th." Now, she's still going after the January 6th. She's one of two Republicans on the committee. Matter of fact, she's a vice chairman on the committee. She is a never Trumper. She is a rhino. She's never been a conservative. I'm sorry, she's never been a conservative. She almost reminds me of John McCain in that respect. John McCain, Lindsey Graham, neither one of them are conservative. Or John McCain was never a conservative. Lindsey Graham isn't a conservative, no matter how you slice it. And some people were hoping that he would be, and he never was. He's a rhino. And he's one of the biggest rhinos out there. So we have some more remarks from her on this. She goes, Uh, Cheney noted that she won her primary 2 years ago with 73% of the vote. I could easily have done the same again, she said. The path was clear, but it would have required that I go along with President Trump's lie about the 2020 election. It would have required that I enable his ongoing efforts to unravel our democratic system and attack the foundation of our republic. This was a path I just couldn't take. It was a path I just couldn't take. Okay? And then she goes on further towards the end of her speech. She hinted that her political future is not over. The primary election is over, but now the real work begins. Cheney is rumored to be mulling a run for the president, and in her speech, she mentioned not only Abraham Lincoln, but also General Ulysses S. Grant, who also became president. And then finally, to finish up this whole, just like I said, she has no clue what the temperature of the room is in Montana or the United States. As she concluded her speech, Cheney said, "We must be very clear about the threat that we face and about what is required to defeat it. I have said since January 6th that I will do whatever it takes to ensure Donald Trump is never again anywhere near the Oval Office, and I mean it." Folks, she means it. She means it. She don't want him anywhere near the Oval Office. But what they don't understand, and this has been constitutionally defined by the Supreme Court, that you can't pass a law that adds a requirement to becoming the president. Okay? So technically, I don't want to see this, but technically, if somebody was a felon, they could still be president. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, because you'd have to have a constitutional amendment, in order for you to change the requirements of the presidency. So she not only misread the temperature of the room in Wyoming, she's misreading the temperature of the room in the United States. She has no clue. Folks, I mean, if she actually throws her hat in the ring, I doubt she even gets to a debate stage. To be honest with you, I think she's going to pull so low in the country because she's done so much damage to the republic by these fake, phony January 6 hearings, that all these trumped-up charges, the trumped-up impeachment, because she voted to impeach Trump because she felt that Trump was responsible for January 6, which he wasn't. And nothing that they brought forth in the January 6 hearings has proven that he was responsible for any of that whatsoever. All right? If anything, it was the mayor that was responsible for that, because she didn't deploy, or have the chief of police deploy the National Guard that was on site already. Okay? And then she makes a crack about the 2020 election. Well, my dear Liz Cheney, you haven't looked at all the evidence. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't have a dog in this hunt. And the things I seen on election night leading up into the next day in Philadelphia and Allegheny County here in Pennsylvania, and then Josh Shapiro coming out and saying, and Dare Wolf, our governor, come out and saying, well, we had a secure election. There was nothing wrong with our election. And they had to be, again, bald-faced lies. There was so much corruption going on in the voting, or in the counting houses in Allegheny County and in Philadelphia. 2,000 Mules, the documentary by Dinesh D'Souza with True the Vote and Election Integrity, they proved beyond a shadow of a doubt. They proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that there was cheating and that there was manipulation of the vote, not only in Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, it turns out it could have been one of the worst ones. Matter of fact, some of the math that they did said there could have been over 800,000. I believe the number was. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think it was somewhere around 850,000 votes that should not have been counted for Biden, which means Trump would have won Pennsylvania at least. And other states, it was showing up too. You have to go watch the movie 2,000 Mules. So Liz Cheney as far as I'm concerned, she hasn't done the research. She just fallen lockstep with the elitist Democrats, and she's an ever-Trumper, so she's on the side of the Democrats. Matter of fact, she's a swamp creature, and I don't think anything President Trump would have done she would have agreed with. I mean, even honestly, if he would have said breathing the air or breathing oxygen is good for you, she would have denied that and suffocated to death. That's how bad Liz Cheney is. So I'm glad to see her gone. I'm glad to see that all but two of the people that voted for that sham impeachment of President Trump are gone. They're primaried out, which is really funny. The guy they're trying to take out, he took out almost every one of them, the vast majority of them. She's only one of two Republican, rhinos sitting on the January 6th committee, and they haven't proven anything. So there's that. And I just don't fathom this mindset from the elites. I really don't. That they think they can just get away with anything. They can say what they want with impunity. Their hubris just abounds. That they think that they're entitled to what they have politically. And nothing can be farther from the truth. And Liz Cheney's actually proven this, folks. Well, folks, this has been Dan Clements Show. I'm your host, Dan Clements, your constitutional warrior. Remember, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. We'll see you on the next video, folks. Have a great day.